Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of, just checking to see that my mic is on, episode 7 of Books and Stuff. Today, I have quite a bit to go over. I had a busy weekend after that insanely busy week. A very different kind of busy, a wonderful busy. I finally got to do some reading. Finally. But it was packed nonetheless. But before I get into that, bit of news about the website. As I mentioned, I believe it was last episode, I'm trying to figure out just what I plan to do with the video blogs in regards to the website. I have a couple ideas that I'm fiddling around with, and you might see a change or two to that vlogs page within the week. So you can look forward to that. As regards to just about anything else goes, I don't have a whole lot else planned for the realm in the coming in the recent future. I don't expect to see any large changes, or for that matter, any small changes aside from the vlog page. So that's what I have to say in regards to the Walker realm. I would like to say a little something about these video blogs real quick. I am quite frankly amazed with all you viewers. This as of episode 6, as of before I started making this one, we are almost 3 or 4 views away from 100, and that is fantastic. With only 6 videos out, to be that close to 100 views already is incredible. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. And I expect that I will have a little 100 views celebratory video to make before this week is over. But till then, I just wanted to say thank you guys very, very much for all the support. And I hope you guys have had as much fun as I have during these videos. So, busy weekend, indeed. After I was finally done with about 4 papers that I had to write for Friday and an exam on Friday, I finally had a little bit of time to just sit back and relax. And in that time, I managed to read 2.5 books, which just felt fantastic, because it was something I'd needed to do. I had needed to do for quite a while. It took me 2 weeks to read A Casual Vacancy. That book's only 500 pages. That shouldn't take me 2 weeks, because Red Seas Under Red Skies, which I will be reviewing today, is 800 pages. 760 pages, and I read that in a day. So that might say a little bit of something about how busy I had been the last couple of weeks, especially last week. But I also for a class, I had to read Heart of Darkness, which I read over the weekend, like the other one. And it's one that I'll be reading a few more times over the coming month-ish, month and a half, 2 months, whatever. Month, not 2 months, just 1 month. And I also started reading The Last Unicorn by Beagle. Heart of Darkness is by Joseph Conrad, and Red Seas Under Red Skies is by Scott Lynch. But I've begun reading The Last Unicorn by Beagle because, as I said before, this has got a huge just background to it. One of the most acclaimed fantasy books ever. And I wanted to take a peek at that, and I'm enjoying it so far. And I'm about halfway-ish done with it. But on to Red Seas Under Red Skies. This is second of a series, the Gentleman Bastards series. I believe, although don't quote me on this, that I talked a little bit about the first one, The Lies of Locke Lamora, during one of my earliest episodes. Second one maybe, yeah, third one, I don't know. Doesn't matter, honestly. But so this is the second book in that series, and it lives up to the just awesome fantasticness of the first one, in my opinion. This is a really good series, very gritty and realistic and down to earth, and just downright hilarious at times. At the end of the first book, the main character Locke and his best friend Jean were both, they were both injured, but Locke was very close to death. And at the beginning of this one, kind of details his recovery, or lack thereof, for a while. He kind of falls into a brief depression because he did lose quite a number of his friends at the end of the first book, and so we get to see him deal with that and get over that grief that's just completely absorbed his life. And when Jean, his friend, finally pulls him up out of that, we see this huge transformation in him again, back into the old Locke Lamora that we know and love. And true to form, they come up with a scheme to rob the richest man in Talvera, who is he's the owner of a casino, for lack of a better word. That's what it would be in our world. It's called the building is called the Sin Spire, so kind of an interesting name for a gambling house, I would think. But they decide that they want to rob this guy of every last bit of money he has. He also has the most secure vault in the world, so they have to deal with that little issue. However, partway into this book, they are discovered, their past identities anyway. Nobody knows about their funky identities and what they're doing with this casino, but their past identities are discovered by the military governor of Talvera, who then blackmails them with poison into helping him regain the public eye and become the power he used to be back when the city was at war. And so our good friends Locke and Jean are sent off into the ocean, with Locke masquerading as a rebellious pirate captain. Needless to say, they have some incredibly interesting adventures, and the ending is not at all what you would have expected it to be. Just a very good book that certainly lives up to its predecessor, and I very much recommend this entire series. However, you may want to wait a little while, since there are a significant number of books left to go, and this last one was published in 07, I think, or 09. Yes, this one was published in 2007, the second book, and we are still waiting for the third book, with a very, very loose publication date of September in 2013. So, significantly long wait for the next installment, but if you don't mind a long wait, then I really, really recommend that book. And the first book as well, of course. And since I've decided to do one of these for every one of my videos now, we're going to get a quote. And this time it'll even be a quote from the book I just read. So, as I mentioned, this quote takes place right at the beginning. Well, not right at the beginning, but right after Jean finally convinces Locke that he needs to get up off his bottom and stop skulking and sulking around. And Locke takes this to heart. So he gets back after promising to Jean that he would prove that he's just the thief he once was. And the following quotation ensues. "That's a sweet piece," said Jean, briefly forgetting to be aggravated. "You didn't snatch that off the street." "No," said Locke, before taking another deep draught of the warm water in the decanter. "I got it from the neck of the governor's mistress." "You can't be serious." "In the governor's manor." "Of all the—" "In the governor's bed." "Damned lunatic!" "With the governor sleeping next to her." The night quiet was broken by the high, distant trill of a whistle, the traditional swarming noise of city watches everywhere. Several other whistles joined in a few moments later. "It's possible," Locke said with a sheepish grin, "that I have been slightly too bold." End quote. So yeah, that's a little bit of a taste of the very interestingness of Locke and Jean. They are both quite the characters. And now, it must be question time. So, the question I've got for today is, how do you decide what to read next? And this is a fantastic question because I don't know about any of you, but I have been in those instances where I just don't have a clue where to go from here. And that's just no fun to be in. You just wind up rereading the same stuff over and over and over again. And you don't accomplish anything. And you start to just kind of, I don't really like reading anymore. But it's not that you don't like reading anymore, you just can't find anything to read. Usually that is partly to do with the fact that you're not really looking for a book. But I will tell you this, it is quite challenging just to walk into a bookstore and go, that one. Because you just don't know. Unless, I mean, yeah, there's really just no way to look at a book once, just the cover, and go, that's going to be a good book, I'm going to get that one. My biggest tip for this is choose your top 5, top 10 authors, and go to their websites. They'll usually have some kind of a blog or just some Q&A center, and they will have most likely done a list of top 25, top 10, whatever, books. I highly recommend that you look into those books. Because they will be worth your while, almost 100% of the time. That it is in that way that I have found some of my favorite books ever. Another good idea is to take that list of top 5, top 10 authors and follow them on Twitter and Facebook and whatever other social media sites that they use, because you never know when they're going to slip a little something about some new book they've read or heard about or done a cover blurb for, and those books can be just gems. So that's a great place to start with authors you know are firmly in your genre and you respect well enough to check out their opinions of books that you think you might want to read. Barring that, I mean, you can always search for top 25 books of this genre. Insert genre here. Top 25 sci-fi books, top 25 romance books, top 25 science fiction books. I think I said that one twice, didn't I? I said sci-fi and science fiction. I meant to say fantasy one of those times, so forgive me. But that works just fine every now and again, and you can get just as lucky with those kinds of lists too. The only other big idea I would have is Goodreads.com, which is kind of an online library that you can set up. You just search for all the books you have. You select that you have them. You can write reviews of them, but it'll also give you recommendations based off of the books you read. And when you start to build up a friend basis, you can even there's a little section where you can ask for recommendations from all the people who are your friends, and they will almost always jump on that opportunity. So that's just a great way to find out what books you want. That's all I have for today. I've gone a wee bit over my time, my normal time anyway, but that's okay. I'll see you guys all hopefully later this week, barring any nuclear holocausts or zombie apocalypses. And until then, please remember to like and comment. Later days.